Hi everybody. So it's Laura here again from Laura Cully Hypnotherapy, and today I would like to talk about mindset. And I know this word means lots of different things to different people, but I've been quite interested in looking at what makes some people seem to appear to really love a challenge and be able to take a knockback and just keep going with it, and just makes them more resilient, and why other people get really hurt by that knockback and give up so much more easily. And I've been looking at the work of a lady called Carol Dweck, who looked at different mindsets, and she actually looked at children. So she went into schools and studied children and looked at what makes children more resilient, why some are always up for a challenge, wanting to try something new, and will keep going even though they might find things difficult, and children that will perhaps feel that they started to fail at something and want to give up. And so what she came up with are two different mindsets, which she called a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about those two today because I found that really interesting. So let's start with a fixed mindset. So with a fixed mindset, you very much have that belief that you are born a particular way, you have certain skills, you are either intelligent or you aren't, you either can do something or you can't. I am. So it's very much that kind of labelling yourself. I am this, I am that. And she found that even with children, that they will feel that, I am clever, or I am good at certain things, I am good at sport, I am not very good at sport, all those things. And it can lead to these very limiting beliefs about what we can do, the way we see ourselves. And with this very fixed mindset, that she found tended to be when children and people give up more easily because they try something, discover that perhaps they're not great at it to begin with, and let's face it, with most things, we're not, are we? But they would try something and find that they were making mistakes, getting things wrong, and they would just give up. Obviously, that's not for me. I'm not good at that particular thing. And she found that quite often it came down to the language. So it could be the language that teachers had used, the language that parents used. And so when you tell a child something like, oh, you are clever, or you are good at maths, you are good at reading, and you're labelling them, telling them what they are good at and what they're not good at, they take that label on board and they grow up with that, and they decide that they are good at certain things and they're not good at others. And it's the same with adults. We do it as well. We do it with ourselves, and you can see how when that's a very negative thing, how that can be quite destructive. I am stupid, I am not good at maths, I am no good at marketing, I'm no good at cooking, all these things we label ourselves and we decide we just can't do it. And you can understand that with a negative, but actually even with a positive, so, I am clever, I am intelligent, I am funny, whatever the thing is that you feel is part of your personality, actually even that can sometimes backfire. And I found that really interesting, because if we label ourselves and we think that that is why people love us, that is why we get the respect that we do, as soon as perhaps you're not quite so clever, or you don't do something absolutely brilliantly, you actually start to wonder, well, if I'm not clever, will that person still love me? Will I still get respect? And so even when we label ourselves with that positive label that we are good at something, it doesn't actually allow us to expand, to try new things, because we feel that we are loved because of that positive attribute, whatever it is. It's really interesting. So if that's a fixed mindset, let's look at a growth mindset and what that means. So obviously that's looking at things a different way, and it's actually looking at processes. So rather than being good at something, so rather than telling a child, oh, you are good at reading, you read that really well, or you overcame that challenge really well. So it's looking at the process that they're going through rather than labelling them, if that makes any sense. So, and of course we know about neuroplasticity. We know that we are always learning, that our brains are forever changing, and we're never too old to learn new skills. And of course we're learning more about that all the time. So we don't necessarily attach our identity to the results, or to, you know, whether we are good at something or not so good at something. And it just opens everything up. It makes us more resilient to making mistakes, because of course we know that making mistakes, these things that we think of as failure, are really just feedback. We know if something goes wrong, if we don't do something brilliantly the first time, and again, how many of us do, well, we know, okay, well, I won't do that again. I know now what happens when I do it that way and it doesn't work, so I'll look at doing it a different way. Also adding the word yet. So, and she found this especially with children when they would say, oh, I can't do this. Well, you can't do this yet. And she would start to make them look forward and work with them to think about how they could begin to change the way they were doing something, how she could help them, and ask them, well, how can I help you? So that they could see that it was a process, that not that I can't do this, so I'm going to give up. So if we look at two people going into business, whether you have a great idea, you have a particular skill that you want to share, or whether it's a product that you have that you want to share with the world, and you go on with all this, you go into it with all this passion, this great product, this great service that you can provide. If we look at those two different mindsets, so somebody with a fixed mindset might start out with all that passion, all that enthusiasm, and then find that they come up against a challenge, they get a knockback, or somebody, you know, they get a bad review, whatever it is, or things don't sell as well as they thought they would, and they immediately, oh, I can't do it. I thought I could do this, but I can't. I'm obviously no good at, you know, whether it's their product they're looking at, whether it's the service, whether it's a particular part of business that they feel they can't do. And instead of looking at, okay, well, I know not to do it that way, who can I get to help me, what else can I do? They just give up and decide that it's not going to work. Whereas somebody with a growth mindset might have exactly the same idea, the same service, but they will go into that with the same passion, the same enthusiasm, and they get those same knockbacks. And they're more able to do that, maybe more able to look at the process. So, okay, that didn't work. What else can I do? You know, can I do it a different way? I know not to do it that way now. So, you know, even let's look at other people. And this is the thing with the growth mindset. With a fixed mindset, it's very easy to look at other people and just feel that kind of jealousy, that feeling like, oh, well, they're really good at it. They're doing what I want to do and I can't do it. And you get all those horrible feelings of feeling jealous, feeling inadequate, and all those things. Whereas with that growth mindset, you can look at other people and think, well, they're doing it really well. So what are they doing? What are their processes? What have they done that I can learn? Because I can learn. I can learn to be like that. I can learn to do these things in a different way. So can you develop a growth mindset? Now, I'll be very honest and say that I'm somebody that I think has always had a bit of a fixed mindset. I have always had these ideas that I am good at these things, I'm not so good at this. And this is all quite new to me. When I found out about this, I thought this is so interesting. So I am trying to develop a growth mindset, and you know what, you can. Because the first thing you need to do is be aware of it and understand it. And when you start using those labels about yourself, if you have that identity, and it could be something you've always told yourself, these could be things that come from childhood. And they found that in households where, you know, things were, where people would look at the results. So you would be, you know, people would look at the results of things, they would look at your exam results, your test results, and you would be judged on that. That they tend to have a fixed mindset rather than, well, you know, that's okay, what can we do to make things better? It doesn't matter about the result, you know. And also, obviously, the language, like I've mentioned before, if you were told, oh, you are good at something, oh, you are clever, or this is the clever one, you know, where you grew up with that identity, that you then became scared to step outside of that in case you lost that love. So you can start to develop. First thing is recognize it. If you've got that fixed mindset, which many people do, recognize it and learn to notice when you are labeling yourself. Look at your processes. So if something's going wrong, have a look at that and notice what's going wrong, and look at the process that you used and learn to do it differently. And just, to be aware of that word yet. If you're telling yourself, oh, I'm no good at, okay, well, you're no good at it yet, maybe. Perhaps, you know, you need to learn some new things, or you need to learn from other people. So, just keep learning. And you'll find that people with that fixed mindset are the ones that get quite frustrated. And, you know, okay, there's this thing being in your comfort zone, but can't the comfort zone feel like a little bit of a trap sometimes? You might have these things that you really want to do, but you're scared to step outside of that, to make mistakes, to try something completely new, because you're just scared of getting it wrong. So give yourself permission to make mistakes. Nobody is expecting you to be perfect or to do everything brilliantly. And again, this can go back to childhood. If you were punished for getting things wrong, if you were laughed at for getting things wrong, you know, but you're not that child anymore. So look at that and realise, does it really matter if I get something wrong? If somebody laughs at me for doing something wrong, at least I'm having a go. At least I'm trying to expand. I'm trying to progress. Okay, so I want you to have a think about that this week. And if you'd like to come and talk to me about any of these things, then please do. So have a really good Monday, everybody, and I will be back tomorrow to have a talk to you about something else. If you have any questions, please do let me know. Pop them in the comments, or just come and let me know how you got on with the video. And I'll be back to speak to you soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks, Simon. Thanks, John. Bye.